First on my list is the newly added Fiend deck, Yubel, one of the most broken decks of this format. If they go first uninterrupted, it's game over. On turn 1, Yubel will consistently set up 8 to 10 disruptions, consisting of monster negates, destroying cards, banishing cards, and linking with opponent's monster as well. And if you go second, you can easily spam your board with Yubel monsters and attack your opponent's monsters to reflect damage. Basically like Mekanko but better. Yubel also utilizes a small unchained engine with Sharvara, Yama, and Soul of Rage. You're also able to fuse with your opponent's entire field using the Loving Defender, as long as you have a Yubel monster on field. Basically, you can't go wrong with this deck, and even if they use board breakers like Evenly Matched, you'll still have close to 6 disruptions, making this deck unbreakable. This is my deck list. You can choose to drop one Yubel for anything else if you don't like playing with 2 Yubels. Next we have branded Despia. This deck has always been on my list. The only way to really kill this deck is if you ban branded fusion. The best way to play the deck is still the 60 card version, which utilizes cards like Grass and Triple Tactics thrust into board breakers. The deck also has a lot of cards to bait interruptions before activating your branded fusion, and if it resolves then you basically win. And if you go second, branded uses cards like Super Poly and Fallen of Albaz to fuse with your opponent's monsters, as well as branded Loss Protection to break boards while the opponent can't respond, making branded still one of the best decks around. There are many ways to build branded. This is my favorite way to play branded. Next is Rescue Ace, Turbulence Turbo, which if resolves will win you most games, alongside other cards like Promethean Princess and Little Knight. Rescue Ace can easily set up 6 to 8 disruptions, doing this with extreme consistency thanks to Black Witch, Bonfire, and Poplar, which are all 1-card starters. And even if Rescue Ace goes second, it can easily OTK thanks to cards like Zelantis and Raging Phoenix, making this deck broken both going first and going second. You basically can't go wrong with this deck. Next is Tearlaments, formerly Tier 0. And even with all their cards being banned or limited to 1, Tearlaments is still strongest. Tearlaments can easily set up turn 1 boards with over 10 disruptions, depending on if you mill well or not. And going second, Tearlaments uses cards like Super Poly to break boards. This deck also generates advantage out of thin air when you start milling your cards, making it excellent to play through disruptions. And there's many ways to play the deck, like mixing with Horus or with Kashtira. Next we have Snake Eyes Fire King, the best deck in the game, or the second deck behind Yubel. This deck is broken. The advantage it generates from graveyard every turn is crazy. From Flame Burge reviving 2 snakes every turn, to Sacred Gar Unix reviving itself every turn and destroying a Kirin, or original Sinful Spoils from grave, you basically always have follow-up plays with this deck, making the grind game against this deck impossible. But even if the deck goes second, this is a fire deck, meaning it utilizes the Zelantis OTK for easy wins. But be careful if you want to build this deck now, it could get hit on the ban list soon. And finally we have Purrely, probably the most annoying deck to play against. It will draw 4 or 6 cards every time it's your turn, always draws into Max C, meaning that you play against this. Get ready for Max C. Its boss monster is unaffected. It goes +4 if you deal with said unaffected boss monsters, so it can do it all over again next turn. And if you go second with Purrely, it has OTK lines using Purrely Happiness to attack 5 times. Subscribe if this video helped. Here's my deck list. Thanks for watching.